Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Game days are always better at Dave & Buster's. That's because more TV inches, more food and drinks, more space, and more fun make the game we all know and love more special. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team take the field on the two 12-foot big screens or 26 75-inch TVs. Throw in the arcade experience and you've got a winning atmosphere that no other sports bar can deliver. Follow the fun at Dave & Buster's, Panama City Beach on Facebook and Instagram. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports at Dave & Buster's.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
I always considered the members of my teams as family. But Tom Walter, the baseball coach at Wake Forest, has taken that family relationship to an entirely new level. One of his outfielders, Kevin Jordan, was so sick from a kidney disorder that he was on dialysis in his dorm room 8 hours a day, wondering if he would ever be able to play baseball again. That's when Coach Walter didn't hesitate to volunteer and donate a kidney to Kevin. You may never face a situation like Coach Walter and Kevin, but you may be called to do something else. As you strive to be like Christ, be ready to lovingly sacrifice something for others.
Tony Dungy, author of the popular Uncommon book series. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Imagine a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
We do, every day. It's a beautiful place.
But right now, families are struggling, and too many children don't have enough to eat.
So we're called to help them, to bring them food, resources, and hope.
To support families today so they can build a better tomorrow for their children.
To do this, we connect people. People like you, who can do so much for the most vulnerable children across this country and around the world.
If we work together and seize this moment, we won't have to just imagine that beautiful place.
We can create a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
Thank you!
FeedTheChildren.org.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John, Paulette Hesse, ESPN Northwest Florida. Welcome to the house. It's time for the Afternoon Underdogs.
It's happening.
Wow.
It's on right now.
Opinionated and unfiltered. The hot takes, the rants, and the sports talk you crave.
Give it to me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are live. We're out here at Dave & Buster's in Pier Park on the patio. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Drew Gorman, Kyle Wright, and Miles Lashley.
It's not even on.
Yeah, it's on.
It is on. All right, so we're off to a roaring start, just like Rory at the Masters. We've had the par 3 contest going on today. Miles, anything popular happening on the par 3 contest, and what do you love about it so much before we get into your personal issues today?
Everybody that's in the par 3 contest has a home after May 1st.
The best part of it's all the hole-in-ones and the family aspect of it. Harold Varner's kid almost picked up another guy's ball.
Yeah.
Luckily, Harold Varner saved it at the last second, but it's really fun to watch for all the families out there.
Yeah, it is, man. I wish I had a little bit more time to watch that, but the Masters is going to be fun. We're going to dive into that. Of course, Miles is going to give you the latest and greatest odds. We're out here again at Dave & Buster's. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Mariana, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can text us today. We're not at the studio, so not taking any phone calls, but you can text us at 850-215-6290. Got a lot of great stuff happening. Atlanta Braves got the win today. We'll have them on the air tomorrow. Thursday. Coverage starting at 6 o'clock. versus the Padres. First pitch will be at 6:20. So we've got the Padres for a set here, and they've been playing some great baseball. We'll give you the Daily Braves update today at 4:40. Let's see here. We've got Kyle Wright with us today, so we're obviously going to be talking some WrestleMania, the big deal between Endeavor combining now UFC and WWE, what that means for some of the talent there. And I've got some other questions up my sleeve today. See if I can get the master on his game today. Also have Drew Gorman with us, so we're not going to talk anything LSU. We're not going to talk anything New Orleans Saints. I'm just kidding. How about those Lady Tigers? Yeah, getting the
Tigers,
W.
baby. Let's go.
What was the situation with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? What was your takeaway from that situation?
I mean, fair is fair. If she does it to one team, might as well do it right back at her. Because I mean, if she's gonna put it out there, you've got to be able to be able to handle it back at you.
Okay. Let me just point out that none of this outrage came from Caitlin Clark herself.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was fully in support of what Angel Reese did.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. Like I praise Caitlin Clark just for coming out and basically saying she should not deserve this. She doesn't deserve the backlash that Angel Reese doesn't deserve the backlash that she's getting. So I'm here for it, and I'm praising Caitlin Clark, and now I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, and I hope she does great at the next level.
What if
she's still playing? We got a text yesterday. We talked for it about 3-5 minutes yesterday. Should Caitlin Clark come back to college or should she head to the WNBA? But she cannot go to the WNBA until she turns 22. So she will be back with Iowa next year. So
she can come back after that though for a 5th year.
If she wants to, she could just keep on rolling. El Presidente Dave Portnoy came out today and said, if this was a guy doing this, he would be labeled as classless, all of that good stuff. My thing is, at the end of the day, when are we just going to let individuals be individuals? If they're classless, if they're not classless, who cares? If they're winning championships at that point in time, 15 seconds to go or not, 15-point lead or not, I don't care. If they want to act that way, then they act that way. And it is what it is. And let's appreciate these athletes in the short time and the short span that we get them for the way. Now, if you're an Iowa fan, I can understand your animosity or why you would be upset by this. I can understand it, but it doesn't change my mind either way. Is it great sportsmanship? No, it's not great sportsmanship, but that's neither here nor there when you're playing in a championship game. So that's my take from it.
I think they were both garbage for doing it, and the second one only got publicity because of obvious reasons.
All right.
And I think from my standpoint, as an LSU fan, I love it, obviously, because it worked out in our favor. But me as an athlete personally, when Angel Reese did it, that's the perfect time to do it. It's at the end of the game, after we've already won every game we've been handed, that we've had to. We've won the national championship, so that's the perfect time. Then it can't, quote unquote, backfire on you from a player standpoint, from an athlete standpoint. Yes, it's given her some problems in the media, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's always gonna be split 50-50 these days.
What I don't like is how this whole story is taken away from just how incredible Kim Mulkey is. Yeah. And nobody's talking about that coming out of this. They're all talking about this nonsense of two people that nobody knew of before the season started. Or even one player.
Caitlin Clark was already
Caitlin Clark, absolutely. But one player that nobody knew who they were if they weren't an LSU fan until the Final Four. And they're taking away from Kim Mulkey, making her resume to become the greatest women's college basketball coach of all time. And
that's a tough hill to climb in a sense, especially when you talk about Gino, when you talk about Pat Summitt, when you talk about what Dawn Staley's done. But what her career at Baylor, and then this is just year 2, right, with LSU?
Yeah, year 2.
And to bring in Flo J and to bring in the Bayou Barbie, those are huge moves. And maybe she's not getting the credit that she deserves from this run, and also what she's done for the sport of women's basketball through this entire time of her career. But where we're at now, and you see the 9.9 million viewers for the championship game, for the Final Four games, they had good numbers as well. That is exciting for the sport of women's basketball. There's no doubt about that.
And Kyle, I totally get your point, but I do have to put some respect on Angel Reese's name, because going into her college career, she was the number 2 ranked player in the nation.
And that was when she was at Maryland, right?
Going into college, she went to Maryland, had a injury 4 games into her freshman year, had a up and down second season, and decided to transfer. Could have gone to South Carolina, could have gone to UConn, could have gone to Tennessee, but she chose Kim Mulkey and LSU and came down there and averaged a double-double, set the NCAA record for double-doubles in a season.
And Caitlin Clark had the same. Caitlin Clark had the same side of that. Is the only player to have a 30-plus point triple-double, and then she actually got the 40 points there. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, none of those guys did that. So that is impressive in and of its own right. Again, we're out here at Dave & Buster's Pier Park. We're on the patio. It is Wednesday, so that means half-price games. And also, we have a happy hour going from 4 to 7 p.m. That's half-price drinks. And if you come up to the table right now and say the word effects, the code word for today is effects, then we're going to get you a $10.
With an A or an E?
Well, I'm going with just 2 letters, FX.
FX has the movies.
I'm just going off of the board. It's a Pro FX board, so that's where I came up with the code word.
Just whatever
today.
it is.
Yeah. No doubt. So y'all come out to the table, and we're going to hook you up. If you say the word effects or FX or affects, effects, however you want to spell it, I don't care. This ain't a spelling bee. We're going to hook you up with $10 worth to a Dave & Buster's Power Play card. Lots of awesome games inside and lots of great competition right here at this table, because Kyle is ready to go for some Connect 4 basketball.
Unbeaten, by the way. Unbeaten,
so we're going to have to change that.
Unblemished.
Well, if we're talking about competition, can we talk about the March Madness bracket, how it ended up with who was the person who finished highest out of the ESPN people?
Oh, well, we're not going to go that way just yet. I will give you your time to shine. But Jenny Dennis, she won. She had UConn, flipped 25, got second place, and Nettie O got third place. So $500 winner was Janae Dennis. Jenny, if you're out there listening right now, why don't you head up to the station? I'm sure that we can get that package solved for you this afternoon. Thanks so much. You can also call up to the station, and Bone Crusher will more than likely answer. All right, so congratulations to all of those. We had 117 entries, so next year let's do it a little bit bigger. And we're also going to add the women's bracket for next year, so that should be exciting and give you guys a double chance, a shot, 2-time shot at winning a big prize. Kyle, you had mentioned something to me earlier. If college football had a 68-team playoff, which we're going to a 12-team playoff, not this year, but the next year. But let's just say the next year they go to, or this last year, 68-team playoff, which is crazy to think about. But do you think in that sport, in the sport of college football, would we ever see a Final Four like what we just witnessed in college basketball with a 9, a 5, a 5, and what was it, 4?
I definitely think that basketball, and I brought this question up, but obviously I'm going to say no, just because basketball is so different, man. You could really run, and this is not a knock to any of our local high schools, but you can run a local Mosley team out there, and they could stomp Gulf Coast. They could go out there and they could beat Florida State. And basketball is all about how the shots are falling that day. And where football is, if these guys are bigger, if they're stronger, and if they're better, they're not going to, Georgia's not going to lose to.
Hart doesn't win you that many games, and we saw it in the 14 college football playoff this last year.
Yeah, Georgia's not going to lose to Florida Atlantic.
Hart does win you games. You got to have the heart with the talent, but if the talent disparity is so large that you're banking on your heart to be the reason that you get there, I agree with you 100%. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have as many upsets. Now, maybe in those first round games, those 16 versus 1s, I don't think you if we started that last year, I think that it takes 2 times as long as it did in football as what it did in college basketball to have a 16 takedown and 1. Now those 9-8 games, those could be fun, or it's 9-8, right?
Yeah.
And some of the 14 threes, I think that's kind of a wash. You know what I mean? 15 twos. But as time goes on, what have we seen in college basketball? We've seen the parity. We've seen it kind of even up a little bit. We saw UConn and how great they were and how kind of underrated they were going into the tournament just because of that rough stretch that they had in January. But it doesn't happen in football like that.
No.
The TCU beating Michigan, doesn't happen that often.
Right.
Will it happen? Yes. But on a regular basis, no. So I don't even think that it would be fun to have really even 24 teams. I think that's when you start losing matchups right there at 24. 12, there's a lot of room for some good matchups. But
Yeah,
when you get
absolutely.
to 24, that's you're a little too far gone at that point.
You start putting your 3-loss Coastal Carolinas in, it starts to get a little less interesting, doesn't it? And I think it was Brian Haddad that you guys had on the show. I think it was good for the sport to have such a crazy Final Four like this, but they really needed a blue blood in there. Just one. Right, just
is
one.
UConn not a blue blood?
I mean,
are they a blue blood now?
5 championships, 3 different coaches. The past 25
probably
years.
now. I guess I'm just talking about
In the last 20 years, yes.
I'm just talking about your Duke, your Kansas, your North Carolina. Like obviously,
the brands.
It would have been a lot better with a bigger brand in there. And I haven't seen the ratings yet, but I imagine that they
14.1 or 2 million.
All right, so this is a fun fact for Miles, and then we'll get back to college football here for a second and what Hugh Freeze had to say about spring games. But amid all of the Final Four TV viewership chatter is this fun fact, and Miles is right. It was like 14.2 million, which is the least viewed championship of all time in men's college basketball. So there's that. But my guy, Miles, what are you doing tonight after the show outside of what were you going to be doing before things went awry for you? All right, pickleball. So the noon Sunday pickleball event in South Florida averaged 679,000 viewers on ESPN. That beat out many NBA, NHL, soccer, and all of the XFL broadcasts thanks to play-by-play or featuring play, actually, not play-by-play, but Andre Agassi was playing, Andy Roddick, John McEnroe, and Michael Chang, and that's according to Bill Shea via Twitter. So how do you feel about that? Pickleball getting 679,000 viewers, and is this now the new mark? We don't need 1 million plus or 10 million plus. We just need 679,000 viewers, or at least that's showing that pickleball is growing at an astonishing rate right now.
Yeah, they're just working on building the game right now, the brand. I mean, that's great, but it comes with those names in there that viewership does. You can't just go throw a bunch of pro pickleball players who you don't know that many names of on TV and expect that many people to watch it. It comes with those names, but as they keep doing those special events and the game grows, you will start to learn the names of professional pickleball players, and I think it will start to be on TV more.
All right. I like that. I mean, I just can't see myself tuning in. It's like the cornhole and some of the other
middle of the summer. You got baseball, right? I mean, you usually get tired of it about 2 months, and then you take the summer off, and you get back into it around August.
If you're not a Braves fan,
pickleball's on the weekend. You're doing nothing. I'm throwing that on TV.
I'd rather go play, and I've never played pickleball, but I'd rather go play pickleball than, and I hear it's a lot of fun, but I'd rather go play than I would sit there. It's the same exact way with cornhole. Like, I'm not going to go watch these guys throw, as Drew would call it, some bags around when I can just go out to the backyard and do the same exact thing myself.
Because it's something you can do. You'd rather go do it yourself. Right. It's not like
it's almost like feeling like a kid again.
Yeah, it's not golf, NBA, or football. We can't compete with those guys on those fields. I do think we'd have a good shot at competing with some pickleball players.
So who's the GOAT? Let's not say GOAT. Who's the top name? Tyson McGuffey.
Tyson McGuffey. He's the top guy right now.
All right. So
he did get beat by a 15-year-old last weekend.
That's wild. So the up-and-comers are doing great. It's kind of like in baseball right now, and this is a stretch. We've got a goodness gracious, the trucks with the bulldog style
squatted.
That is just absolutely ugly, man.
Hey,
no purpose at all.
If you squat your vehicle, come out here, give us the keyword FX, and we will take $10 from you.
I like that. But going back to baseball real quick here, some of these younger guys, like Dylan Dodd, made his debut for the Atlanta Braves last night.
Pretty good.
He looked like Max was calling him yesterday, the Dodd father. But to me, what I like is these younger guys who don't have Major League Baseball experience, they get in there and the pitch clock's not even a factor. You know what I mean? Because they're already primed for that. They've already made I think Dylan Dodd made 26 starts with the pitch clock, you know? So that's kind of one of those things, they're acclimated to it. So same way with pickleball, these younger kids who, it's all they've known. It's like our generation with the technology. We kind of just grew up with it. It's second nature. But what did we all do for our grandparents and our parents? We fixed everything for them. And to
turn
a lot
the cable
of
TV on.
yeah, exactly.
They don't know where the on button is.
Yeah, a lot of the times it was very simple fixes, but it's such a foreign thing to them. So that's the same way with the youngins playing pickleball or tennis or whatever sport that it is that they want to focus on or that they feel they're good at. Disc golf right now. That's a huge thing as well.
Yep.
So
disc golf's a blast.
Yeah, it absolutely is. What's your favorite course here in Panama City?
They've got one down. It's down by Harder's. It's called the Monster.
Yeah.
It's the old rundown golf course over there.
Baydoun, yes sir. Yeah, I have not played that one. My favorite one, and I don't even know if it's reopened, is the one over there by the FSU campus, FSU Panama City.
Oh yeah,
that one is a fun one. You just got to watch out to lose them in the water a little bit. But I think Baydoun's is kind of that same exact way.
It's the same way. Like half of them have water because it was a golf course, but it was just like, holy crap, this thing is tough.
That's another game that takes a lot of skill. Somebody who's been playing for 20 years would kill us in that. But that's what's fun about pickleball. Anybody can beat anybody. You can be the most athletic football, baseball, golfer, any of those hard sports, most athletic player in the world. But you could probably get beat by somebody pretty normal in pickleball or unathletic.
That's a good point. It is a good point. It doesn't take a whole lot of athleticism there. We're sharing the water again this week. No, you're good. You're good. Hugh Freeze says that Auburn and Alabama should play teams like UAB and Troy in spring football games instead of the intra-squad scrimmages that we're used to.
Yeah, well, I mean, this makes sense for Auburn, for all the smaller schools like Auburn, Troy, and UAB. It makes total sense. Alabama's going up against another Alabama every day in practice with their second strings. They don't necessarily have to go play these games. I think he's kind of stirring the pot, just see what Nick will say, and I don't think Nick will say anything about it other than that we're playing against the best of the best in practice every single day.
No, but I think that it could be a really cool idea, though, and you're right. Like with certain schools, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State's getting there, LSU even. They're teams that when they have the intra-squad, they are playing against some of the best players in college football. But still, on the flip side of that is you're opening. You don't even have to do spring games. You could do OTAs like Coach Summerall of Troy said. But I think that you can still have your intra-squad game, though. You could still have that, and you could line it up to where you're bringing exposure to some of these smaller schools, especially the ones that you share a state with. Like the fact that Alabama and Troy has never played a football game is still kind of wild.
I hate spring games anyway, scrimmage games.
Aren't you going to the?
I'm going to go to FSU. The crazy thing about them is, like, you watch your quarterback deliver a pass and you completes it for a touchdown. You're like, okay, was that a good pass or does our defense suck?
Yeah, like, you're comparing yourself against yourself.
Exactly right. So you don't want to you don't want to see any good plays, and you don't want to see any bad plays. It becomes a real weird situation. I definitely think Florida State, Florida A&M, Miami can play against Florida Atlantic, even though they probably want to play like an actual community college down there. They might lose to a team like Florida Atlantic. Miami football's nothing.
Oh man, so FIU and
they've lost to FIU recently too.
You've got USF, you've got UC. I mean, there's so many schools in Florida when you get to a state like that. But also at the same time, I mean, UAB, Troy. There's a lot of schools in Alabama. Ohio State's got. I just think that this could be a good thing. You could almost like a mid-season classic or a mid-spring classic deal with Alabama and Troy or something, and Auburn and UAB, and then either those teams could flip-flop and play each other, or at the end, your final spring fling, if you will, would be against your intra-squad. But I don't know. I think that this could be interesting, but we won't know much more about it until we actually get something like this, because right now it's not even legal to do. Right. They are about to open it up for Division II in 2024, or they just passed a rule, actually, so D2 schools can scrimmage other teams in spring of 2024.
So it's NCAA rule.
What's that?
It's an NCAA rule?
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me. I think it should be up to the schools. If my school wants to play your school in the spring, we should be able to.
Yeah. Well, actually, what's funny about the way that the rule reads is that the NCAA does not allow schools to play scrimmage games against other teams in the fall. But technically speaking,
This is the spring.
This is the spring. Another thing that I saw on The Athletic today was, could SEC schools scrimmage XFL teams, or just college football teams in general scrimmage XFL teams for their spring day? And which team do you think could win in a situation like that? Like an Alabama, a Georgia, an LSU, a Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan going up against whoever it is that might end up winning the XFL. Who, we always talk about NFL versus college football, the best college football team against the worst NFL team. The worst NFL team is going to win 10 out of 10 times. But if it's the XFL, we're talking about a league that's just been put together. Do you think that a top-tier college football team could take down an XFL team?
I'd still put my money on the XFL team, because at the end of the day, they're still grown men. Yep. They're still professionals. There's a reason they were granted this opportunity. So, I mean, you're going to have those oddballs out there like a Travis Hunter type of guy who's going to be just an all-star stud at, 16, 17, 18 years old. But he's going to be going up against a guy who's 24, 25, 26, who's fully grown into everything, worked out at his age, worked out at the XFL level. So I think that makes a big difference.
People don't really realize how good you have to be the worst player on a football team.
I was pointing at your mic. I was going to push it a little closer.
You're right. Sorry. I don't think people understand how good you have to be to even be on a practice squad on a professional football team. So, my goodness. All right.
Yeah, we're going to go take a break. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're out on the patio. Pier Park, Dave and Buster's. The code word of the day is FX. Come tell us and get yourself a power play card from Dave and Buster's. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
That ball's going to be out of here.
America's team plays here.
Bombs away.
The Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
Ronald Acuna just clobbered one to left.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the thunder.
Sponsored by Goldberg Kia, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, Stormore Portable Buildings, and Brock Pest Control.
My weather forecast for this afternoon, partly to mostly sunny in the low 80s, a south wind 10 to 15. That water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 70. Mostly cloudy tonight, 65 to 70 for the air temperature, light south winds. Partly sunny in the low 80s again on Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Me and my I Do crew have 50 years experience, and we have more certified diamonds in stock at the best prices in town. So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, come see me, your diamond girl, and my I Do crew at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, because we don't work on commissions. We work for smiles and I Do's.
850 Prepped, Bay County's newest meal prep delivery service. Fresh, fully prepared gourmet meals delivered to your doorstep. You have a hectic schedule. Because of this, 850 Prepped has created a local meal delivery service. 850 Prepped features individual and family meals, snacks, and breakfast. Sign up to receive their delicious weekly menu options at 850prepped.com. 850PREPD.com.
If he doesn't start showing some motivation and stop wearing flip-flops to work, he might get fired.
I only have another week and a half here, and I have completely checked out.
Miles Nasty Lashley is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. We're out here, Dave and Buster's Pier Parks, chilling on the patio. Code word today is FX. Just come up to the table, say the word or letters FX, and we're going to hook you up with a $10 Power Play gift card. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Mariana, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Kyle Wright, Miles Lashley, and Drew Gorman, the Gorminator. Now, I did rudely not let you get to your bragginator side. So who finished the best out of the cast of the Afternoon Underdogs?
It was myself.
And how low was that?
6th.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. You had Amanda Amanda, I think, was top 10. Yeah. Caveman Rick, I believe, was top 10. So congratulations to everyone. Hope everyone had a lot of fun keeping up with the brackets. I know I sure did, even though I didn't have to look much after the first day. But it was a lot of fun. Now, my women's bracket, on the other hand, still didn't work out that great because I had South Carolina winning the whole thing. So that didn't work out. But we will have one for the station next year. Masters starting tomorrow. We're going to make some picks later on today after the local segment brought to you by Barbaritos. Miles is going to chime in with his files here. What do you got, brother?
Yeah, I just saw this tweet. The Masters is using AI commentary.
All right.
For some of the broadcasts, which is very like dystopian, kind of wild that a robot's going to be calling.
So basically, they've got someone like just typing on a chat GPT somewhere, and they're just.
I don't even think it's that. I think they taught the AI what to say when you see the club be swung and where it lands and all that stuff.
How do you feel about? I hate that personally as someone who
kind of scary.
Yeah, well, it's gonna. Hey, I guess Walmart's leading the head here by eliminating jobs with the self checkout and all of that stuff. So maybe we're just headed in that direction. That is a wild situation.
I just listened to the shot on there. It said this is stroke number 2 for him. It carried 162 yards. That's
so it's not. It doesn't feel real.
It's not the same as a real person, but I mean, 10 years down the road, it's going to sound like a real person.
Oh, golly, man. I do not like this. But let's get into the NBA and the NHL. Did Joel Embiid lock up the MVP last night? 52 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and a 103-101 win over one of the scorching teams in the East, the Boston Celtics, last night. In your opinion, did that lock up the MVP for Joel Embiid?
I mean, I would think so. I mean, obviously the Joker still has a very good case, but I think voter fatigue is going to play a major role in this. And it's kind of Joel Embiid's to lose at this point. The Sixers are on fire. He also had a big block in that game. So, I mean, he's got to be the guy. And I would love to see the Sixers get to the finals and lose.
Yeah, looking at the odds here, Embiid is now a 600-point or a minus 600 favorite. Nikola Jokic is a plus 700 underdog, and Giannis Antetokounmpo not too far behind him at plus 800. Those odds basically at minus 600 is an 86% chance to win. Embiid became the third center with 3 50-point games in a season, joining the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain. For me, I guess I'm still out. The verdict's still out for me because he didn't even play that last game he was supposed to play against the Denver Nuggets, and he didn't play. And that was a soft move. That was a soft move. Now, would you post him up?
The NBA MVP needs to be gifted or sponsored by Charmin every single year. Just go ahead and give it to him. And LeBron needs a lifetime contract with him.
Oh, my gosh, man. Hey, even in a tough season for LeBron this year, still played 55 games.
Is he going to win Comeback Player of the Year?
I don't know if he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I don't think he would be eligible either for that. But still, the man comes back, and now where are the Lakers sitting in the Western Conference?
The 10th?
7th.
No, I think they're 7th.
7th seed, and they've got a big-time showdown tonight against the Clippers. So, really, you've got to give a lot of credit to Anthony Davis and LeBron James for their own stints when they've been kind of the motor of the boat for the Lakers. I believe they're 12-13 with Anthony Davis and no LeBron James, and then like 13-14 when it's LeBron James but no Anthony Davis. So to kind of where we started this season with, and a lot of people being high on the Lakers, and then where they went, the controversy with Russell Westbrook and all of that good stuff, for them to be sitting right here in the 7th seed and can move all the way up to the 5th seed in the Western Conference, I find that to be very impressive. And I think that a lot of that has to do with, and I could be wrong about this, but maybe LeBron is becoming a little bit bigger in the locker room.
No, I mean, that's very possible. I think it's he's got a team of role players now, and everybody kind of knows their part. They know LeBron's big man. They know LeBron's daddy on campus, and that includes Anthony Davis. Like, you've had your opportunities.
He's the GM.
It's
like having the GM in the locker room.
They understand he's big dog. Austin Reeves has been going off, but he understands, like, this is LeBron's team. Malik Beasley has been an incredible acquisition for him.
LeBron had Austin Reeves do the too small back to Patrick Beverly the next game because LeBron's too big of a man, too nice of a person to do that. So he had his boy Austin Reeves do it for him.
That's what a coach does.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to use the right guys to needle people. What could be really interesting, and the chance of this happening are not even slim to none. They're zero, less than zero. But the Chicago Bulls have locked up that 10th seed for the play-in tournament in the East. So you could very well end up seeing a Chicago Bulls, LA Lakers NBA Finals. And obviously that's not going to happen. If LeBron does win this year, though, let's say that the Lakers battle all the way back and they get to the finals, they win the finals. And now you're already on your team LeBron. Kyle is.
Yeah.
But where does that even push him further away in your mind from Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that widens the gap a little bit more. You just look at the teams that he's been able to take to. I mean, he took a team led by Larry Hughes, and I mean, you can't even name any some of the other players. Drew Gooden to the NBA Finals in 2007. Right. So, I mean, the dude's already got a little bit of separation, in my opinion, but this would absolutely widen that gap a little bit more.
I think it does a little bit of both. It helps, but it also hurts, because if they're able to run through the West and win the win the finals, I mean, who put them in a position to be there? It was when LeBron wasn't there.
To get back, yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I think it does a little bit of both, because yes, they're going to definitely need him to go through the West and get there, but at the end of the day, he wasn't there to kind of start that train going into that direction.
Right. I think that he did have a role in getting the train going in the correct direction, but then when he goes down, it was imperative that Anthony Davis stepped up in a way that a lot of people didn't think Anthony Davis was capable without like a true either number one above him or a true number two or a 1A, 1B type situation. So I do think as maybe this is met with opposition that LeBron has played a pivotal role, even if it's just in the shape of a general manager or being in the locker room and being that guy, because that's the thing that us as sports fans are just not privy to, and the cohesion and the chemistry and what goes on behind the scenes in the locker room has to do with your future as far as the single season goes.
Yeah, I'm ready to see it in 20 years when the documentary comes out on LeBron, all the cameras in the locker room, what kind of guy he was like in there, and a teammate.
Well, him off the court is just a total upstanding dude. So I think
about anything related to basketball, though.
I think he's definitely a great mentor, because you have to be, especially with kids that are of age and are starting to get back to.
He doesn't like playing with a lot of kids, though. He usually ships them off to another team.
I'm talking about his specific kids. His kids. He's like raising them like.
He's like a legit LeVar Ball. Not taking anything away from not taking anything away from LeVar, because what he's been able to do for his kids has been amazing.
But he also said he could beat Michael Jordan in his prime one-on-one.
Yeah, well,
you don't know he couldn't. Like I said earlier, Mosley could beat Gulf Coast. LeVar might be able to take down MJ.
Anything could happen. James Kelly says LA goes as AD3 goes. Professor Plum, this is kind of bouncing back a little bit, but he says, regarding your Walmart comment, what about an AI entity hosting a sports talk radio show?
They're coming for our jobs, man. I don't like it.
AI could never have hot takes, though. They would just spit out facts.
They could. Why couldn't AI have hot takes? Because all they have to do is be programmed to have hot takes. Look at the world of sports right now.
They're not as dumb as us.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So they probably would have a problem branching off into hysterical type of comments. But look at the world of sports and like entertainment that's not actually happening on the court, right? Where did it go to? It went from just kind of factual, informational, to then now after cold pizza or whatever, then you start getting into the first take, and then it goes heavy into debate. Well, now it's still a little bit debate, but more who can have the hotter take. That's what it seems to be to me, is whoever has the hottest take wins the day. Because how long does it take to sift through bull janky on the internet to actually find a good source? You know what I mean?
I will
you get tripped up so many times. Go ahead.
You don't have to pay AI a talent fee.
That is true. Let's. All right, so playoff facts here. 9 of the 12 guaranteed playoff spots have been clinched to this point. 5 teams have clinched home court advantage in the first round, and the top 3 teams in the draft lottery have also been finalized. That's the Pistons, the Spurs, and the Rockets, each going to receive a 14% chance of being awarded the number 1 pick. Now, just a few few weeks ago, maybe a little bit more than a month ago, you had the NBA trade deadline. You had Kyrie Irving going over to the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas now sitting on the outside looking in and with the 11th seed. They've got 3 games to play, and they're already talking of shutting Luka and Kyrie down. Now, since they've been together, they're 9-16, and since they've both been on the floor, when both players are on the floor, they're 4-11.
Wow. They should trade them both and get all the draft picks in the world.
All the like Dallas Mavericks, only team drafting this year because we have traded Kyrie Irving and Luka, but they can't trade Kyrie, right? He was going to be a free agent after this year.
No, you wait.
He is going to be a free agent.
Yeah, so he is a free agent. So why would you shut somebody down that's going to be leaving anyway?
That's
let them play them ankles out, man. Get them ticket sales. And as far as the trade for Luka goes, Miami send them everything except Jimmy. Send them anything and everything they want.
Luka and Jimmy on 5.
Bring Luka down to play with Jimmy, and let's run an actual basketball
Y'all did get
program.
a new name for your stadium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for 17 years. What was the name of it?
It seems kind of cheap to me, honestly. 117 million, 17 years.
Well, look at what happened with the last one. How many years did that last?
Because cryptocurrency isn't real.
I think it lasted 2 years, but yeah, man, but 17 years. If it's going to be 17 years, I need a good name, not something that I can barely pronounce. I want something that's easy.
It's usually who's putting up the most money, no matter what's Acrisure Stadium now at
yeah, but they are bringing back the ketchup bottles, which is going to be huge for the Steelers.
Inside the stadium, right?
Yeah. But they need that, though. That's the reason why they didn't have as great of a season as what we're used to seeing from the Steelers, which is at least 500 plus.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they ever lose Heinz, they could just take the label off the big ketchup bottle, and they could just be a regular ketchup bottle.
Or they just put statues up of Heinz Ward and have some bottles around them somewhere, and you can still have the Heinz.
2 bottles of ketchup?
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome to
non-branded ketchup.
Welcome to Whataburger Spicy Ketchup Arena. Is that what I like it.
That is a pretty good name. It's a pretty good name. Lakers again up to 7th. They got the Clippers tonight. That's going to be a pivotal game, especially with what's going on right now with Paul George.
Can they both lose and the Pelicans move up?
Where are the Pelicans sitting right now?
Is Zion ever going to get on a basketball court, or is he just going to hang out?
He'll be there the game before the NBA playoffs. Get his feet wet.
Are they going to get in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, we're the AC right now.
He's
we're
a part-timer, brother.
He'll get his feet wet, and then he'll slip on the court.
Part-timer, about to make $50 million a year. Sounds like a good gig.
It's not as good as Ben Simmons. You can be a 0-timer and still make big-time money. So yeah, you got the Pelicans sitting in 8th. So if the playoffs started today, you'd have the Pelicans and the Timberwolves and the Thunder and the Lakers. How about the Warriors, though, getting their pieces back at the right time? I mean, last year they weren't that team that everybody thought. They weren't the team during the season that they were in the postseason, and that could very well happen again because you still got Steph, Klay Thompson, Wiseman, and then last night, who was the hero? Jordan Poole. So I don't know who the hero was. Jordan Poole showing out last night, so that could be very beneficial for the Warriors. I wouldn't be surprised to see a team like the Warriors. And what's so crazy, too, is after the trade deadline, what everyone was like, the West is back to being that conference. Who's the champion coming out of? Which conference are they coming out of this year? I'm going to say the East because you got 3 clear-cut favorites, in my opinion, over there with Boston, with Milwaukee, and then Philadelphia. Philly is a favorite of mine to get to the championship and lose again. And I would hate that in a sense, but
that would be awesome.
The city of brotherly love, or the city of losing championships, the city of second place. Philadelphia. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Mariana, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We're hanging out here at Dave and Buster's on the patio in Pier Park. Come give us the code word FX and win yourself a free $10 gift card or power play card at Dave and Buster's. We'll be right back after this.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
That ball's going to be out of here.
America's team plays here.
Bombs away.
The Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
Ronald Acuna just clobbered one to left.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the Thunder.
Sponsored by Gilbert Kia, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, Stormore Portable Buildings, and Brock Pest Control.
At Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, you can find all the necessary items for an unforgettable fishing experience. From pin rods and reels to the best hand-tied rigs in Florida, we have it all. With the help of our friendly and knowledgeable staff, you can be sure that you have the right gear to make that big catch. Come experience a great local bait and tackle shop located directly off 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach, located just 5 miles west of Pier Park.
Hi, it's Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. And just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself. Don't miss the summer deal where all your monthly memberships are 50% off on your first month, starting at $9.99 a month. Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Bat Beach Road, right next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
By now, you've heard us talking about Tiger TV Pro. Hi, David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs, here to remind you about this incredible streaming service with over 6,000 premium channels. And the cost, you ask? $15 a month. Yes, only $15 a month. Every sports channel is available, including the ACC and SEC network, the NFL, NBA, MLB, HBO, Showtime, and thousands more. For more info, go to our website at espnpc.com. Scroll down and click the Tiger logo.
Karen bought 83 liters of Dr. Thunder, a suitcase full of Cheez-Its, and a drum of Crisco. Now she's crying about using the self-check at Walmart.
Maybe we should speak to a manager or something.
Just saying. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back live and local out here, Pier Park, Dave & Buster's on the patio. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, and you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Kyle Wright and Miles Nashdale Ashley. Come up to the table, hit us with a code word of FX, and win yourself a free $10 Power Play card brought to you by Dave and Buster's. Again, the Atlanta Braves play tomorrow night. Got the W today, 5-2 against the Cardinals with the sweep. Brought the brooms out today. But tomorrow, 6 o'clock coverage starts for the Braves and the Padres. Braves and the Padres. That should be an interesting series. The Padres, and again, it doesn't really matter what's going on at this point in time of the season. You can be like the Phillies and go winless for a little while. They did get their first win last night against the New York Yankees. Or you could be like the Rays and be undefeated to this point. 6-0 now. Best start in franchise history. First time they went 5-0.
For what, 162?
Yeah, that would be that, yes. But who have the Rays been playing?
I don't know.
The Tigers and the Nationals. Does that set up?
Look, that's 2 professional teams they're playing.
No,
100%,
100%. And I would love nothing more than a Rays-Braves series, because in a sense, to me, that's almost like a win-win. You know, like, of course, I would rather see the Braves win that, but I know me and my dad would be, and my brothers would be sitting down together watching every single game of that series. What would be your dream series, Drew?
I say it every year. It's Astros Braves.
We've already had that one.
You already saw that.
But
we know how that story ends.
I always want it because my National League team are the Braves. My number one team are the Astros. Like growing up, I used to watch a lot of Astros games. No, I would like to see the Braves do good. I don't actively root for them, but I just... They're one of those teams that I would like to see do good. Now, you asked me about the Angels, the Athletics, the Yankees.
Angels are making the playoffs this year.
No, forget them all.
Forget them all. We'll get into the... What would be your dream World Series, Kyle?
The Reds and the Blue Wahoos.
All right.
That way they got a shot.
Then we have a chance.
It's kind of like a little vengeance series, because didn't the Blue Wahoos used to be an affiliate? Yeah, of the Reds. So now they're affiliate of the Marlins.
Real answer right now, like if the Reds had any snowball's chance, and would definitely be I think the Reds
in Pier Park right now, because
it's a little spicy out here, guys. If you hear us slurring our words, there's no alcohol involved. I promise. It's 112 degrees under these headsets.
Yeah.
No, but I think the Reds and Angels would be really fun for me, because I have so much respect for Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. I'm in the middle of something right now. I have so much respect for those two guys. Seeing them get a championship would be incredible.
Plus, it would be Brandon
That's
Drury.
Why you wanted the matchup.
And Brandon Drury as well.
Yeah,
right?
Brandon Drury over there.
And I like Anthony Rendon, as long as he doesn't mess with any of our fans.
How about that? Were you surprised? So, for those of you who don't know, Anthony Rendon was involved with an altercation with a fan, Oakland A's. Basically, the guy, Anthony Rendon, was exiting the field, and one of the fans was over there by the dugout and then was saying some choice words to Anthony Rendon. I didn't hear the words.
Female dog.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then the fan got a little bit closer to Rendon, and then Rendon grabs him by gets a fistful of T-shirt right there.
He could have gotten a punch off, but he did get a punch off, but he tried to punch with the hand that was holding the shirt.
Like a hockey
So the guy
fella.
backed up. It's like, look, you hold him with one hand and punch with the other.
Well, I mean, hockey players, they'll hit you with the same hand that's holding your jersey right there.
Yeah, but they were in there for the fight. They both agreed to it. I don't think this fan agreed to the fight.
No, absolutely not. But still, only getting 5 games for that. Were you surprised? Was that low or right on the money?
I think there should have been no suspension.
No, he actually got lowered to 4, right? Like,
Did they move it down to 4?
On the appeal, he got lowered to a 4-game suspension, which is literally less than 1% of the MLB season. So, that number's not accurate. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, it's not a lot. 4 in a 162-game season ain't nothing.
No, it's nothing. So it's really a slap on the wrist. I think heckling stops at name calling like that. Disrespectful name calling. I think. I'm honestly, dude. I'm a heckler. You guys know that, but
that's the fun thing about baseball, though.
But when you start going off like that, and this is after the game, you know what I mean? This isn't during the game. Like, he's not up at the plate. He's not saying, "Come on, you bum" or something like that. This dude called another
bold face right to his face.
And we're all grown men here. When you call another grown man that word, you're kind of opening yourself up to get smoked.
Yeah. No doubt, and it is one of those situations. Like, would you say that if you were actually? Thanks, Josh.
You're my hero, Josh. I love that.
Again,
Cool.
if you're out here at Pier Park, man, Dave and Buster's, you need to come get set by Josh. He's going to take great care of you, man. He's been taking care of us all day long, and we really do appreciate that. With Anthony Rendon, though, if you're not, or with a fan rather, if you're not going to get on the field and say that, which you're going to get in more trouble if you get on the field anyway. Right. So there's a side of me that's like, well, jawing is acceptable, and Anthony Rendon kind of should have just let that go. I mean, look at Shohei Ohtani. That was the thing that stuck out more to me from that video than anything. Shohei's like, what's going on? This is different.
And these ball players are also getting paid millions and millions of dollars. I mean, you got to be able to handle a little crap.
Yeah, I'm not sticking up for the fan. What the fan did was wrong, but again, at the same time, Anthony Rendon, like, it's one of those things where you're just
pick your battles.
Yeah, well, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't in that situation. Yeah. But what's getting hurt if you don't? There's only one single thing that's getting hurt if you don't. Your pride. That is the only thing that's getting affected. Now, that is a tough thing to shut down, right? Ego, me. There's no doubt about that. And it is, that, especially with a word like that being thrown around, it can get under your skin rather quickly. But at the end of the day, all he has to do is just continue walking 60 more feet, and then this is a non-issue. The only thing people are talking about is the idiot fan who kept on talking after Anthony Rendon is walking under the stage. Or walking into the clubhouse.
Yeah, I didn't know the Athletics had fans until I saw that video.
Well, they had fans for that series. Yeah, but basically just for opening day. But my dad had texted me earlier, and he was like, they're already talking about how the AAA and AA teams for the A's are outnumbering
Is their farm
the A's.
system good?
I don't think that it has to do with that. I think what people love about AA, AAA, single A baseball is that it's so much more community-based. And if your Major League Baseball team is not taking it as serious as what you as a fan would like it to be, then why not just go support the AA and AAA affiliates, and then you also get kind of a better experience. And that's one of the things too, while we're talking about that I'm still kind of surprised at. Look, the pitch clock has worked out great and stuff, but at the end of the day, what was it tested on? AA and AAA baseball games, right, where people don't want to spend too much more than two and a half hours in those games. Whereas when they come to a Major League Baseball game,
except Thirsty Thursday.
Okay, certain days, sure, I'll give you that. But what I'm saying is, when you go to a Major League if I travel to Atlanta to go to Truist Park and watch the Atlanta Braves, I don't want to be in my seat, or I don't want to just be there for 2 hours. That's like the game last night was 2 hours and 14 minutes. So that's kind of, I know that they did this for the fans at the house who's watching the games on TV, and that, it's been great. And like Cody Shields has said before, like, they're doing this for the generation that is, ate up with quick, instant gratification. Exactly, all of that good stuff. But still, I think about that, and I'm like, I don't know if and I'm going to go to a game, but it makes it tough for me to drive 5.5 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, and I'm only going for a 2-hour game.
Yeah, but now you got to go to 2 games.
But
you go there for 2 days.
That's fair, but the price. Am I getting any type of a discount on shorter games?
No. You should probably bring that up.
But I just don't. I mean, I understand the argument on that. But
Yeah.
I mean, as somebody, like, I bring it up a lot with ADHD who does have the short attention span, I've enjoyed it so far. You don't need to see 7 pickoff attempts. It's stupid. It's a waste of time.
I think it's got good components to it.
I love every aspect of it so far. I love that the Reds' average game time right now is 2:25. It makes it easier for me to watch during the day. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to set aside 4 hours to watch a losing baseball team.
Well, that's the difference, though.
I
Right
know,
now.
but I get it. But now I might be more inclined to turn on another game because in years past, it's like, I'm not going to give up 4 hours of my day to watch the Braves and the Mariners. I don't care about either. Yeah, let's go. I don't care about either team, and that's no disrespect, but I don't care about the Braves and I don't care about the Mariners. But now I might say, all right, well, the Rays got this new kid on the mound tonight against Luis Castillo, so let's go. Let's turn it on for a little bit. This will be a good little pitching matchup. It'll be interesting to see. There you go, man. I'm more inclined to spend 2.5. It's just like football. You'll put on a college football game. If that game was 4 hours long, you probably wouldn't watch it.
College football games are 4 hours.
Yeah, but
long.
it's also if it's your team. Like, if not, like, I don't watch every college football game. None of us do. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But what we will go do the next day is watch the highlights from the games we wanted to see but didn't get a chance to watch.
Right.
Not really the same with baseball, as there's 162 games.
And I'm not knocking this at this point. I'm just saying specifically from the in-life action, like actually going to a game. And it was not problematic if I lived there in Atlanta. What's problematic is now I've got to drive 5.5 hours to go to something that's only going to last possibly 2 hours, which, again, it is what it is. And we're still only talking about a week's worth of evidence, if you will. And it has, from the watching aspect of it, it has worked great. But here's the other side. I like to just turn on baseball as a background noise sometimes. And so when these games are getting done completely at like 11 o'clock, I'm losing an hour of background noise while I'm playing MLB The Show, man.
Another game.
But that's what I'm saying. The final games are pretty much over at 11 o'clock, whereas they used to run into the night.
But look, when you do go to a game this year, you have to do the 9 beers, 1 beer an inning, and 9 hot dogs, 1 hot dog an inning. With the shorter games, I just want to see how it works out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. All I know is that I either got to have an Uber ready or have Taylor with me to drive me on out there.
Look, past years, you probably had anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to do the challenge. Now you might only have 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That BAC level is going to be shooting. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're at that Marlins game last night.
Sandy Alcantara putting on a show.
That's insane. Complete game. What was it? An hour and 53 minutes?
Hour and 53, hour and 54. He didn't. I don't think he had that many strikeouts. I want to say it was
like 5.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It wasn't a huge number.
Pitches.
He had a complete game, 5 strikeouts. I know his over under on strikeouts was 6.5. So did not get that.
So
Good. Nobody wants to watch the Marlins get it over quick.
That was a good. It was a really good win though for them, especially for Sandy Alcantara, who just like last year blew up, and now his first. It was kind of a run of the mill opening day start for him, and to see where he's already dialing back in after a loss, playing for that. That's a tough roster now. Starting the season, not so much, but to go throughout that season to win the Cy Young as the ace for the Miami Marlins is impressive, because you're not that. You look through that lineup before the game starts, and it's like, well, I hope you have a big game. And then your best player, Jazz Chisholm, played how many games last year? 60. So you went 102 games without your best player last year, and Sandy Alcantara still won the NL Cy Young. Very impressive.
It really the perfect cover athlete, since the new MLB The Show only works like 60% of the time anyway.
So I've already made my mind up. I'm just playing. I'm playing 22 throughout the year.
What's wrong with yours?
It's copy and paste, and it's just laggy.
Does it have the new rules?
No.
So
they'll be there. Copied last year's game and put new rosters on.
But it's been like that since really.
But that's Madden,
the last version
2K,
of the Xbox One games, and then once they got into the XS, they started changing up a little bit. But
even in the old
not
ones,
a
though,
whole
you
lot.
could get thrown out of the game and yell at the umpire and stuff. You can't do that anymore.
Bring back Slugfest.
You just got to continue to hit people. You just got to use your pitcher and just
There was
throw at
another
people.
one that was crazy.
MVP baseball.
No, not college. It was MLB. I think David Ortiz was on the cover one year, but you could hit these crazy home runs and do all this crazy stuff in it.
I remember MLB Slugfest. You could charge like if your batter caught on fire, you would hit you were gonna hit a home run, and your guy would charge the mound to fight him if he got hit by the pitch, and it would just pan over to the second baseman.
We need that.
Ooh,
need that in video games.
That's so wild to me. I was just talking because the original XFL came out in 2000, right? And a couple years back, 2019, before the second version of it, I was like, man, don't you think that the XFL, the original XFL, the way that Vince McMahon had envisioned it, don't you think that would work out? So same way with Slugfest and NHL Hits and Blitz and all of that stuff. Why are those not games, especially as easy as it is to download games these days? I just don't understand. Those would be fantastic in today's age. Yeah, but the culture, see, that's the thing, is the culture acts like it's not this way, but in the reality of it, when everyone's behind closed doors, they love that stuff.
Yeah, and when you got 10-year-olds playing Grand Theft Auto now, so.
Then what's wrong with Slugfest? I mean, come on, man. And in fact, we're to the point now where you can just show them shooting up the steroids and show them using to stick them and all of that good stuff,
dude,
man.
Put it in the story mode.
Yeah, you have the opportunity.
You have to pass these tests so you don't get caught, but if you click the wrong thing, you're going to get caught.
Real quick here on the Braves update, we'll get back into some baseball here in the second hour, but Dylan Dodd, the Dodd father last night, debuting for the Atlanta Bravos, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 1 run against him, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, no walks. That's the most important thing to me. I think Snit did a great job by pulling him out early rather than just leaving him out there to see how far he can go. I think that's a huge confidence boost, and it'll be very interesting to see his next start. How about Ronald Acuna? Kind of starting better off than what he did last year. One thing that I've been noticing is guys these days either wear the baggy pants or the high socks, right? But Acuna started, and I'm sure that there's other ball players doing this as well, but he's kind of started to bring back that mid-sock game. I wonder if that will end up catching on. And then also a great assist last night from right field, which ended up having Tyler O'Neill, be benched today because apparently, according to the manager, Oliver Marmol, he said that he was not giving it his all rounding third base. My thing is, watching that replay now, I didn't get a good look at how he was rounding the bag, but he had no shot if he was 10 miles an hour fast. Well, if he was a few feet faster than what he was running last night.
Send him down for that.
You think so? I think
not running full speed to score a run?
Yeah, I mean,
well, the thing was I think that I'm not saying that he wasn't running at full speed, but even if he would have gotten a better jump, he was thrown out by 15 feet.
You got to give it your all, though.
The run still scored.
It didn't score.
It didn't?
No.
Oh.
No. Not in this one. This was later on in the game, and Acuna just hosed him.
Oh, yeah.
He hosed him right there. Austin Riley raking, and like Kyle always likes to point out, he very well could have the MVP season. The offense is absolutely there, but the defense still got to work on that just a little bit. The game time last night was 2 hours and 20 minutes. All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll come right back with hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll get you a live update on the Cincinnati Reds and how the first week of their season has gone.
ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. Hi, this is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Friday at 4:20 during the Afternoon Underdogs. It's accurate, detailed content from local anglers, plus fishing updates on Saturday and Sunday morning right when you hit the water. Advice and stories from local anglers. Tune into the Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle Fishing Report, exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
My weather forecast for this afternoon, partly to mostly sunny in the low 80s, a south wind 10 to 15. That water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 70. Mostly cloudy tonight, 65 to 70 for the air temperature, light south winds. Partly sunny in the low 80s again on Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
Middlesex, Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DN, Mariana, WVLQ, Port St. John, Powered by Pepsi.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my gosh!
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're out here at Dave & Buster's Pier Park on the patio. Come up to the table. Give us the code word of FX, and we'll hook you up with a Dave & Buster's Power Play card. Richard Gaunt texted in. He said, going to a game in person is about more than the game. It's the whole experience, BP, warming up, etc., all of that good stuff. That is 100% true, and I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm just going to stick to my old school feeling here of just, it's not that I don't like the pitch clock. It's not that I don't like the new rules. It's still in the filling out process for me. Now, when I'm watching the game, whatever game it may be, yes, I like the fact that the pitchers are just getting right to it. I like the fact that the batters are ready to go with 8 seconds. I have no problem with that. I am just kind of curious still as to how I'm going to feel about it, because that's the only thing that matters, right? Is how we feel about it individually, because we're not changing anything. It's only our opinions, right? So when I go to a game, if my mind's changed, then hey, it's changed. I'm only talking about the in-person, not as much the watching it from TV side of things. Still, I think way more good than this than bad. There's no doubt about that. I still think that we've gotten all of this raving about it, and the verdict, in my opinion, is still out. The Reds, Cincinnati Reds, man, what's their April going like, or their March 30th and April and beyond going like?
3-2 start to the season. Would have been 4-2 today, but
congrats,
Mother Nature doing her thing. I mean, lost the first game of the year to the Pirates. Hunter Green got in his feelings, which is one of my least favorite things about players nowadays. Guys like, I'll wrap him into Ronald Acuna, Hunter Green. These guys, they let their emotion control their game. So if one bad thing happens, they just completely spiral out of control.
Yeah.
So Hunter Green got called for a pitch clock violation and just completely got away from his game.
He should have just Manny Machado did.
He should have, absolutely. He had a 42-pitch inning, and it was rough, man. But after that, Nick Lodolo had a great outing. Graham Ashcraft, of course, who I think is the most underrated pitcher in baseball right now, going into his second full year. I'm excited to see what the Reds are going to be able to do this year. Votto's, rehabbing down in AAA. I definitely think we're in the worst division in baseball. The Brewers are off to a good start, but they don't have the offensive firepower to keep doing what they're doing. So eventually it's going to balance itself out, and I think the Reds have a fighting chance in the worst division in baseball, except for maybe the AL Central.
Yeah, the AL Central, NL Central, very close there. If the White Sox can put it together, then you'll have the Twins, the Guardians, and the White Sox possibly being contenders for the AL Central. But in the NL Central, Cardinals, the Brewers have gotten off to a hot start. Cubbies looking decent. There is that. It could be a decent ride, at least for the first month of the season, for the first full month of the season. What about those Cubs, though, man? Dansby Swanson, has that addition meant more than what we were all giving it credit? And again, very early into the season, very small sample size, but 10 hits in his, first 4 games or so? He's streaking right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time where everybody kind of comes out the gate hot, right? The Reds have the guy that's leading the league in home runs right now with Jared Vosler. Anybody heard of Jared Vosler before?
Not until last night. I watched him hit a home run.
Exactly. So he's leading the league with 3 home runs right now. So
he's tied with a bunch of players.
Well, he's tied with a bunch of guys, but you get it. This is the time of the year. Everybody comes out hot, and it's going to start balancing itself out here soon.
I like it, man. Pirates also one of those teams up there sitting at 4-2. They beat the Red Sox today 4-1. Marlins get to 3-4 now, taking down the Twins 5-2. The Yankees bounce back from their loss yesterday and take down the Yankees today 4-2.
So the Pirates swept the Red Sox.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah,
The Pirates have something put together this year that's very... It could be something to watch just because they've got a lot of veterans, and then you've got O'Neal Cruz. Shout out Spiders for O'Neal Cruz.
Brian Hayes, right?
Brian Hayes, and then you also have Brian Reynolds, who's up there with 3 home runs as well.
Yeah, they're a lot better on paper than people think as well. Again, but so maybe they have a chance in the Central as well.
Well, look at the the Athletics right now. They beat the Guardians last night. I believe they beat them in the bottom of the 9th inning, 4-3. I think the final was there. And now they're tied up with the Guardians as we speak, 4-4 going into the bottom of the 9th. So maybe they're going to get 2,000 fans to their next game. Angels, Miles pick for the AL West. They're up on top of the Mariners right now, 2-1 in the top of the 7th. The Rays dispatched of the Nationals today, 7-2. Braves over the Cardinals, 5-2. The Braves now have the best record in the National League. That depends on they're tied with the Brewers because the Brewers took down the Mets today, 7-6. Grayson Rodriguez of the Orioles is going to be making his major league debut tonight. Oh, he already made it, and they lost to the Rangers and DeGrom, 5-2. So DeGrom kind of bouncing back after that tough opening day start for him. And the Rangers get the win. How about those Rangers playing some surprising ball at this point in time as well? Gotta love it. Any new thoughts? Drew, you got any new thoughts after the first full week of baseball has essentially been played?
I'm here for the pitch clock. I like that it's there because it definitely adds a different angle to it, to MLB, adds a different flavor to it per se, because you've got to speed things up. You can't just stand there for 20 minutes tossing the rosin bag. So I get what you're saying about the experience of being at a game, and you feel like you're expounding all this time and you're just there for a couple hours. But like you said, they're doing it for the people at home. They're doing it for all that, and I kind of like it. So,
all right, good stuff. Got a little more Cops action out here at PCB, man. Got to love it. Will Lamar be a Raven week 1 of the season? And what do the Ravens do if he's not?
Well, I'm going to say yes, because I don't think anybody's jumping out of their shoes to give him the deal that he thinks he
deserves.
That he thinks he deserves. It's kind of hard to say that because the dude's a baller,
right?
The dude
we know he's got the talent.
He's a former MVP. He's got the talent. He's got some success as an individual, but man, over the 2 years thing that you and I talk about all the time, right? This is my problem with Tua. And this is a big problem with Lamar. When you're missing, at least 5 or 6 games 2 years in a row, man, nobody's going to come out and give you $40 million. So, yes, he'll be a Raven in week 1, and I think they signed Odell Beckham Jr. here soon to hopefully maybe give him a little bit of reason to come back.
Oh, I like that.
I think it comes down to what he's willing to settle on, what Lamar is willing to settle into, because at the end of the day, he just has to kind of realize the market isn't what he thought it was and figure out what he wants to do and what he truly wants to do with the rest of his career.
Oh. What about for you, Miles? What does Lamar Jackson do? Is he a Baltimore Raven week 1?
Yeah, I think he's a Baltimore Raven, but
I think your mic's off.
No, it's up.
Okay.
I think he's a Baltimore Raven, but he's sitting at the house week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all the way to week 18.
Yeah, so that's my kind of thinking, too, is if a deal doesn't get done, I think that he's done with the Ravens. Do I think that he should do that? Not necessarily. We saw how it worked out for Le'Veon Bell in Le'Veon Bell's favor financially, but the career was never the same after his stint with the Steelers. And so with Lamar Jackson right now, does he have the talent? Absolutely. There's no question about that. But what is the best ability, availability? And for you to go 2 years in a row with the same type situation of only playing 12 games, I think if you're the Ravens, it makes it hard to pony up a lot of that money.
No, absolutely.
And if he doesn't, so let's just say that Lamar Jackson is not a Baltimore Raven. Do you think that the Ravens could make a deal with the Patriots for Mac Jones? Do you think they would do that? Is Mac Jones a quarterback that Todd Monken can work with?
Well, he worked with Stetson Bennett, so yes.
Stetson Bennett has some wheels, though. Mac Jones got none.
Mac does not.
That's different.
I don't think so, man. I don't think Lamar really fits the scheme of the New England way either. The way they run
That's
it.
a really good point. I still would be 100% fine with seeing Lamar Jackson as a Tennessee Titan, because even if we only get 12 games out of him, those 12 games are going to be extremely exciting.
Lamar and Derrick Henry, that'd be so much fun to watch.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. And the offensive line wouldn't hold him up that well, but hey, who knows, man? I think that could be fun. If if no deal gets done in this offseason, though, I'm with Miles. I don't see him playing next year.
No, probably not, which is going to just hurt his case worse.
Yeah, it is. It's going to make it harder for teams to even more so believe in him.
Go to the CFL for a year.
Well, it's going to be like teammates as well, right? Like, I don't understand why some of his teammates aren't going, dude, I mean, this is terrible.
They all have his back somehow.
I know, they all support him, and I just don't think I could. I'm just trying to put myself in that scenario.
Brandon Marshall was
playoff game.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. But apparently he wasn't healthy enough.
But he pretty much openly said that he could have played.
When did he say that? From what I read,
didn't he pretty much openly say that?
He said he'd rather not play than play with an 100% torn PCL or something like that, something along those lines.
From what I read, it was essentially that his knee wasn't good enough, and he traveled with the team to Pittsburgh, and after that game, they were basically told he asked the Ravens if he could not go to the next game.
It comes down to the player and the situation you're in. I mean, Drew Brees played pretty much the whole season and all the playoffs on like 9 or 10 broken ribs.
Yeah,
which seems pretty brutal. Getting hit in the NFL, doing that a whole season, and they get to the playoffs, he's still going to play. He knows he's their best shot to get to a championship. He puts himself in there, knows what he's doing. Maybe Lamar, I mean, he's a team guy, but maybe he doesn't want to put himself in that situation, potentially ruin his career. But he also wants a championship. I mean, sometimes you got to play a little hurt to get a championship.
You got to play a lot of hurt to get a championship, because you're only going to get more hurt.
Mahomes on one ankle.
That's what I'm saying. The deeper you get into the playoffs, the likelihood of you being injured goes up tremendously. The more football you play, the higher your chances are.
But with his teammates teammates still being behind him, I think there's something that we're missing, something we're not being told. So I think at the end of the day, it's definitely I think there's something behind the scenes that has happened that we're not going to know about unless this goes completely crazy.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall was talking on his podcast the other day that when he was with the Jets and Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback, and Ryan Fitzpatrick wanted like 2 years, $20 million or something like that. Brandon Marshall and them were only getting $6 million, and he told the Jets, according to Brandon Marshall now, he told the Jets that if they weren't going to re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick, he wasn't going to play.
Who told the Jets that?
Brandon Marshall.
Who was the quarterback at that time?
Ryan.
No, who was the starter? Who was the starter?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Who was his backup?
Probably Mark Sanchez.
A great stat is every single team Ryan Fitzpatrick has backed up. The starting quarterback has gotten hurt, and he has gone in to be the starter after that. Every single team he's played on.
Well, there you go. But I'm just talking about the fact that Brandon Marshall was saying that he was going to sit out in order for his quarterback to get paid. And we're talking about a perennial backup quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick, who does have a reputation that precedes him as, if you're the starting quarterback in front of him, Ryan Fitzpatrick will be in the game shortly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to get my money. I wouldn't sit out just to make sure another guy plays. I'm there to get my money and go home, and I'm here so I don't get fined.
There you go. Just like Marshawn Lynch, man. How do you think the quarterbacks fall in the draft? Are we looking at Bryce 1, C.J. Stroud 2, or maybe a surprise with Levis or Anthony Richardson?
Anthony 1, Will Levis 2, C.J. Stroud 3, Bryce Young 4 to the Cardinals.
Wow. Bryce Young's going to go forward.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
To the Cardinals, aren't the Cardinals drafting third?
They draft third, yeah.
So this is going to be wonky.
They're going to get. Someone's going to trade up. Someone's going to trade up to 3 though, either on draft night or a few days before.
I do get the feeling that Anthony Richardson's going first overall, and the Panthers are going to suck for 6 more years until they get their draft capital back.
I still think it's CJ going 1 overall. I like the fit of Bryce going number 1 overall a whole lot better, because I think Bryce is going to be a better quarterback. But I think they're completely starting over there. And I think with Bryce in Houston going 2 overall, I think they have a shot at winning 6, 7, 8 games.
Now, I think Carolina has a chance to come in and win that division, too, though. I think, my opinion is that C.J. Stroud's the most NFL-ready quarterback in this draft class.
Don't sleep on D. Carr and them boys.
But, I mean, we've already talked about the stats versus the stats.
Stetson Bennett seems pretty ready.
I mean, he's like 100 years old.
Yeah, got to be ready at some point.
I would like the Ravens to go after Stetson Bennett just to reunite him with Todd Monken.
A report, you know how those go. A report today that the Ravens are looking at getting a quarterback in the first round.
No, the Rams are going to draft Stetson Bennett so they can reunite Matt Stafford and Stetson Bennett because they were in classes freshman year, right?
Yeah, they were freshmen together.
Them and Herschel Walker.
I don't know, man. For me, I think that C.J. Stroud has got the better body type. It is going to be interesting to see with Bryce Young. Does he have the durability of what it takes to last in the league? And with Anthony Richardson, I think that he could be a fantastic project. But he's not a guy that I'm going up in the top 10 to see how he works out for in 2 to 3 years. If I'm the Seahawks, you would? Why would you?
If I'm a GM and my job's on the line, I mean, I think this is your big chance to make a big splash. If you get him and he works out, you'd have a job for life. And I just think his ceiling is so high. Someone has to take a chance on him in the first round.
But why is his ceiling high? Because of athleticism.
His athleticism, yes. His arm, his talent, his size, everything.
Normally, guys who come up out of nowhere like this, how Anthony Richardson
Josh
has.
Allen.
Okay, but that's a totally different story. He had a 4-year career, or 3 years at the bare minimum at Wyoming.
I attribute that to Daboll.
And I think that helps. But Josh Allen was a beast before Daboll was.
That could be very true, though.
He's reined him in.
That 60% completion percentage in career, that was a beast.
But
turnovers.
The thing is, though, is for just 1 year, right? And it wasn't like it was a phenomenal year that he had last year. What were we talking about for the first 3 to 4 weeks of the college football season? Anthony Richardson has thrown more interceptions than he has touchdown passes. You know what I mean? So that, to me, is the verdict is still out. Does he have the intangibles? Does he have the talent? Does he have or I don't want to say that he's got the talent. Does he have the athletic ability? Yeah, sure, you can make the argument for it, but he's not a guy that I'm going out of my way for. Now, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks and he falls to me, then that is a guy that I can be like, all right, Gino, you're going to mentor him. He's going to be your backup. But if you either got to keep him on the bench or he's going to take your job. I think Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks are a perfect landing spot for Anthony Richardson.
I think Richardson needed another year in college just to learn.
100% agree with that. And Billy Napier could have used it.
Yes, just to figure out how to be an actual quarterback, because they used him more as a wildcat in that offense, because they found out early that his throwing ability wasn't up to par of SEC statures. So I'm kind of curious to see how he does at the next level.
I think we're all curious as to how that's going to work out, how Will Levis is going to work out, Bryce Young as well, because it really does depend so much, and we always talk about who you're drafted by that is going to be your path to the NFL.
Yeah, as long as Bryce stays a little more healthy than Tua, I think he's got it.
Hey, we'll see, man. The height could be an issue. The weight could be an issue. There's so many different things that could
play Call of Duty.
Be an issue. Do we know that for a fact?
Fellas,
I think he came, I don't know if it was a joke, but there was a interview with him during the NFL Combine, and he was like, yeah, I don't play any video games. But he was sponsored by Fortnite.
So next week we're going to have to sit up in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, man.
Like the Beatles. Like the Beatles say, baby. Here comes the sun.
Oh, man.
We starting to burn up, boy.
You don't got your sunglasses or nothing. We're out here at Pier Park. We're on the patio. We're feeling great, man. Just need another glass of water. I'm about to steal it from Drew. You're right. I'm with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout. When we return, it is time to talk some WrestleMania.
Whoa. ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 8.
Come see premier professional wrestling with the American Machine, Chief Little Bear, Mr. 850, and exciting women's wrestling with Raven Knight and T-Games. Saturday, April 29th, Wrestling battling against cancer number 8.
Number 8.
At the Bay Haven Charter Academy in Panama City. Doors open at 5:30, bell time 6:30. Proceeds benefit Donna Duncan.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
My weather forecast for this afternoon, partly to mostly sunny in the low 80s. A south wind 10 to 15. That water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 70. Mostly cloudy tonight, 65 to 70 for the air temperature, light south winds. Partly sunny in the low 80s again on Thursday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Spring is a wonderful time of the year. It's a new beginning for flowers, butterflies, and countless insects that pollinate and help God's wonderful plant kingdom come to life. That boot store reminds you it can also be a new beginning for you too. On April 9th, we celebrate Easter and a risen Savior. Joe reminds you to keep Jesus in your heart this Easter and always. That boot store open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Bird Kia on 15th Street.
Takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, riding with the Afternoon Underdogs out here at Dave & Buster's Pier Park. We're chilling on the patio. I'm David Hayes along with Miles Lashley, Kyle Wright, and Drew Gorman. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You can text in to 850-215-6290. WrestleMania was this last weekend. 2 field days with just nothing but great cards. Tell us, give me your takeaways, Kyle.
So I really thought it was a great event all around. Saturday was an absolute banger from start to finish. There was nothing wrong with the card on Saturday. And then Sunday was really good as well. Kind of started really slow with the 2 matches that nobody was really looking forward to. So I guess it was better that they got those out of the way early. The only bad decision I think WWE made this weekend was giving Edge the win over Finn Balor in the Hell in a Cell.
Dude, he got his head split too.
And I wonder how much of that win had to do with that happening. Like, I wonder if that match got cut short because of the injury to Finn Balor. And if you haven't seen it, I'll show you what happened. Like, Edge threw a ladder at Finn Balor, and he kind of like he missed catching it, and he actually took it off the head, and it split him.
Is that the script?
I don't think so, bro. Not if you see that.
Catch it.
Not if you. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but not if.
It's a nasty wound.
That's not a scripted wound. They stayed up in the match.
Oh, they did it in the match.
Yeah, they put some staples in it, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. So Edge won like 3 minutes after that. So I think it got cut pretty short.
And it doesn't help because he was as the Demon that night, so he had a lot of pain on him as well, right?
Yep.
That never helps the situation.
No, it does not. But all around, man, just a fun weekend for wrestling. It's always good. I think they said like 40 hours of televised wrestling last week altogether. When you start from Raw and you go to NXT, AEW, all their shows, TNA, Ring of Honor.
Wait, AEW's?
No, they're not part of it. I'm talking about for wrestling fans in general.
Gotcha,
40 hours of live televised wrestling last week. So good week for wrestling fans. Everything was good until Monday when the sale was announced, and I don't know, the Raw After Mania is supposed to be the biggest event of the year.
Did that steal the thunder?
And it was terrible. The Raw was terrible. It's the lowest rated Raw of all time.
Really? And that's always supposed to be big, and what do you attribute that to? Is that because Vince has kind of weaseled his... I guess it's not weaseling because it is technically his company.
Man.
But
he bought it for $1 million and just sold it for $9.3 billion.
Ugly brown.
Now, that's the only thing that we need to talk about is the
how he looks like he should be working at the Daily Bugle?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, give me pictures of Spider-Man.
That is wild, though, man. So what do you think this means for the future? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Not just the Vince McMahon, but partnering up with Endeavor now, and now UFC, WWE underneath the same parent company. Is that a good thing or bad thing for WWE?
I think to come out, let's talk about the bad side of it first, right? Endeavor has had a lot of heat for underpaying their employees.
Okay.
This is something that's been that's a hot topic around the UFC in general, that their employees are not paid quite enough as opposed to the revenue that they bring in. So I think that's a major red flag. They gave Triple H a pretty big raise, so it seems like Triple H is going to be hanging around. Apparently,
do you know how much he's making? Curious, just because
I think he's up to $5 million a year now.
Okay, because I know that I saw this little article about in the past days when Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels were still wrestling and how much they would get and some of the perks that they got. And at this point in time, Triple H was still making $2 million. But I was just curious as to, is there a big drop off when you go from being Triple H in the ring to Triple H head of creative?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what his pay difference really is, but I think he makes $5 million is the number that they're talking about right now. It seems like he'll still be the head of creative. A lot of superstars have told the new company that if Vince does take full reins again, that they're gonna leave.
Is this in anonymous? Are they saying this anonymously, or are there some names tied to this?
There have been some rumored names, like Bailey for one, Drew McIntyre to name another. Some have even mentioned that Roman doesn't want Vince to be back in control, which I would think would be when your top calling card is kind of questioning everything. Then you got to be smart.
The whole company needs to take a step back and really look at that, because technically Vince isn't even number one in command. Maybe over the US or the WWE side of things, but at Endeavor, technically he's second in command.
Absolutely, for his own company, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. I don't know, man. It's really going to be a sit it out and wait kind of progress or a process, if you will. Sorry, I'm baking here.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I got a knife.
You don't think Vince McMahon did this just for a huge payday?
I mean, he did do it for a huge payday. He did it to set his grandkids up and his great-grandkids up. He's got a lot of I just don't think he wants to leave his company into the hands of his kids. I don't think he wants his kids to live the life that he lived.
So messed up.
It is kind of screwed up.
Did they want to take over though?
I think his daughter did for a long time, but I don't think that he wanted her to.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really, really freaking weird situation, right? Because all this really just started going down when they found out that he cheated on Linda with the hush money scandals.
All right, but look, think about it like this: you have a really nice old car your whole life. You're getting up there in age.
Oh no!
Would you want to leave that car to your kids?
Okay, so all right, this went a different direction. I'm glad you
okay, yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, you guys were talking about this with Todd Mueller on Monday, right?
The collections.
Sell it yourself rather than giving it to somebody that doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's up for speculation at this point. We'll see what's going to happen. I bought my tickets for July 17th Raw in Atlanta today, so I hope it makes it that long.
How about Charlotte Flair possibly taking another break? Looks like she's going to be taking a break. You got to meet her in Daytona. That was pretty awesome. She lost to Rhea Ripley, and now Ripley is the most decorated female wrestler.
Yeah, I think that Charlotte leaving puts a real black eye on the women's division of WWE.
Really?
And I would say that if WWE had to, if you had to name one superstar, male or female, outside of Roman Reigns, that WWE cannot let get away and cannot let get to the opposing promotion, it would be Charlotte Flair. She's got the name. She's going to carry that name with her wherever she goes, because that's her name. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But that's not a ring name. That's her name. So I mean, her ring name is Charlotte, but the last name Flair itself, it gets to go with her.
Right.
So I mean, you got the namesake. You got just the pure skill that she has. I don't know what's going on here. This break was kind of impromptu. She just came back from a hiatus.
Right, like an 8-monther, right?
Yeah, she just came back from a really long hiatus. So I don't know, man. It's not good news regardless.
And your recap of the main event. We got another one going on. Let's go.
It's like live. It's like live PD out here.
Yeah, for real, man. So, Miles, go get your camera. Get ready, man. Come back to us shortly here with an update.
I'll come back with a report. Let me get a minute. Let me give a minute. Let them get out of the truck and stuff. I'll go over there and get a report for y'all.
All right, love it. The main event, though, what everybody had their eyes on. It was a match I watched from beginning to finish. It was great. Cody Rhodes not beating Roman Reigns. Before I ask you this next question, though, give me your thoughts on that match and how the whole storyline played out. And has that storyline now fizzled, or what's next for Cody Rhodes and the American Nightmare?
Well, it kind of seems like Cody's going to go off on a little stint with Brock Lesnar for a little while now. They had Lesnar attack on Monday to end Raw.
I saw that, yeah.
Which was really anticlimactic. But
yeah, it was a long beatdown.
Yeah, they did it too early.
Yeah.
They had to stretch it out over a 7-minute period to go off the air. It's like 7 minutes he had to burn beating the hell out of somebody.
Well, we've got 10 minutes left before the next break. If you'd like to just give me a word.
I'm going to start unleashing on Miles now.
Oh, you're going to go after Miles? I thought you were going to just take mics and start beating me over the head.
I mean, I'll do it. No, but I was obviously 100% behind Cody Rhodes. I've liked Cody Rhodes for a long time. My wife and I met him in Biloxi. He was really nice to us. He had explained to us that, he said, you guys just missed my dad, because his dad was on that Raw as well. So he told, like, unprompted, just told us, like, hey, you just missed my dad. Took a picture with us, talked to us for a few minutes while he waited on his ride to pick him up and everything. He's a really cool dude. I hated to see him leave WWE, but he definitely made more of himself. I think the words that he used was he was undesirable, and he came back undeniable. And I was rooting for him really heavy, but I think keeping the titles on Roman, I don't think it was the worst idea in the world, man. The dude's the top biller. He sells tickets. He sells merchandise. People are going to go to see Roman. And it was just the right move, man. I know Cody will be champion, and it'll probably be this year. But Roman getting that nod was smart.
Do you think that could be any sign, him not getting it there? Do you think that could be any sign of maybe vengeance from Vince for his stint with AEW?
Maybe not. I mean, I
had to scour the internet for these questions.
Maybe maybe not so much punishment, like in the vengeance way, but maybe more of a message to say, like, hey, you're not going to come here and get your way right away.
Yeah, it takes some time.
Because that's been one qualm with AEW, right? Guys will go there from WWE, and they're automatically in the main event. They're in the title picture, and they're winning the title almost right away. And so it's almost like the WWE saying, you're going to come here, you're going to be billed well, but you're not going to be handed the keys to the kingdom right away.
Yeah. So that could be a good thing. Would you like to see the titles for Roman Reigns holds, both championships?
Yeah.
Would you like to see it go back to being like a branded title where SmackDown has their own and Raw has their own?
Absolutely, and I would like them to go back to brand-specific pay-per-views and only share the big four.
Okay, all right.
So remember back in the day, like, you would have Backlash was Raw and then Judgment Day was SmackDown, and that's the way they came out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that happen again. I hope that this new company taking over, UFC is so stingy with their pay-per-view sales.
Yeah.
I hope that they don't break their deal with Peacock, and because I can't pay $60 for pay-per-views again.
Yeah. No doubt, and it has been awesome, especially to kind of, like, for people like myself who hasn't watched a ton of wrestling or anything, but when I do want to bounce back into it, it's right there and available on Peacock, and that makes it easy. So for the big pay-per-views, for the Raws, for the SmackDowns, you were playing softball till 9:30 or 10:30 on Monday. Oh, well, you can go watch the recap on Peacock, and I think that is good for any sport. I mean, you look at football, what could be a huge selling point for them, or why would people want to get Sunday ticket if they can or to even compound upon that is being able to watch the replays later, like I think with NFL Plus that you can and all of that good stuff. The more content, and this is like what Cody Shields was saying with the pitch clock, the more content that you can get in front of people's faces at a fast pace, it's good for your sport. There's no doubt about that.
I would say the match of the weekend, by the way, I'll do two here. Saturday was the tag team match, just with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. Like, the women, Rhea and Charlotte came out and tore the house down. You were like, man, they should have been the main event, because they, the Rumble winner's supposed to be the main event.
You're right.
So you're like, man, they should have main evented. But then that tag team match went on, and you're like, okay, that was the main event. That just had main event vibes all over it. The story for Sami Zayn coming to a little bit of a close there with the bloodline. I just so well done. The match was great. The execution was perfect. There were almost I think there were no botches. So I enjoyed that. And then, of course, on Sunday, that triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship with Gunther, Sheamus, and McIntyre.
Did you expect it to live up to the hype? Because it had a whole lot of hype coming into it for Gunther, Sheamus, and McIntyre. So Did you expect it to live up to what it did? Because a lot of people are saying it exceeded expectations.
For a match that everybody was already thinking was going to be the match of the night, the match of the weekend, for that to be able to just completely blow expectations out of the water, man. It was, if you're not a wrestling fan, if you are a wrestling fan, it doesn't matter. Just give it a chance. Go pull up a Peacock account. It's only $5.99. And go check out that match. It was brutal, man. Obviously, we know WWE is scripted. We know that a lot of the punches are pulled, but there were dudes in this match with it's okay, buddy. These guys, their chest
WWE rigged? No, I'm joking. I'm using his NFL rigged hashtag.
But these dudes, their chests look like hamburger meat by the end of the match.
Yeah,
they were chewed up.
The article that I've read before, it says that every chop echoed through SoFi Stadium in what may be the stiffest match WrestleMania has ever hosted.
Yeah, I can't say that anybody pulled punches in that match. They're like three best friends, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it makes it a little easier because you trust each other more.
Yeah, exactly. So I would give it a chance, man. If you could find that match at Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther. I think it's like midway through on Sunday.
I love it. Again, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Marietta, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can give us a text, 850-215-6290. Oh, I'm seeing some of the texts that I wasn't seeing earlier. Good afternoon to you, Jack Patterson. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much. And if you can give us a share on Facebook, that would mean the world to us as well. Miles, do you have an update about what's going on around the corner?
Yeah, I went and checked out Live PD, had the phone out, everything. Looked like they just pulled him over because he was driving a Ford.
All right. Tomorrow, what do we have going on? We've got Drew and Amanda. No Amanda. What are you doing tomorrow, buddy?
I'll be working a double at 4005 East County Highway 38.
Y'all go see my man. Make sure you tip him extra big. So just me, Miles, and Drew. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have a couple of guests lined up. I believe I'm going to have Steve Barnes on the line with us, RJ on the line with us. This is all for Friday. RJ and Steve Barnes. It was Steve Barnes' birthday yesterday too, so happy birthday to Steve Barnes.
25.
What's that?
25.
You know, for Amanda, like, if you're gonna commit to doing this every week, you can't miss a show. You know?
Oh, now you're gonna put Amanda is out here. They are busy as all get out today, so she's crazy. Inside helping them out. Again, remember, it's half price game Wednesdays, and happy hour is running from now until 7
Somebody come tell me FX.
Yeah, someone come tell me.
I think FX is a word. There's 2 letters.
It doesn't matter. You can say it to me as the word effects. You can say it effects, affects. I don't care how you say it. It's just a code word, Miles.
Effects. Code letters.
Code letters, whatever it is. We've had neither here nor there. When does this Aaron Rodgers to the Jets get announced? Will it be anytime soon?
Before the draft.
Yes?
Yeah.
I think maybe the better question would be who's gonna cave on their demands first.
Oh,
what's in return? That's what I want to know the most.
I think they're both sticking to what they originally demanded, and we're going to get very close to draft day, and they're both just going to be like, look, they're both going to say, Jets, this is my final offer. Packers, this is my final offer. We got to do something here, and they're just going to do it.
To me, the asking price of just 2 second-round picks is,
but the next year's second can turn into a first,
right?
If Rodgers leaves the Jets.
Yeah.
What if it comes out that Rodgers is the one holding it up?
But don't you feel like it is Rodgers holding it up?
Rodgers isn't holding it up.
You don't think it's Rodgers holding it up?
He's openly said he wants to be a Jet.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's not. Well, I guess it is. The breakdown is in the communication between the Jets and the Packers. But if we're hearing the what of second-round picks, 2 second-round picks with the conditional, or the second 2024 second-round pick could conditionally become a first-round pick.
It's a first either if he stays or leaves.
I would imagine that it would be.
I think it's if he leaves. because they don't want to get caught in the situation where that the Packers are in right now.
But why would the Jets give the Packers a first-round pick if Aaron Rodgers is not a Jet next year?
If he stays.
Yeah, that's what it would have to be.
Year, then
I'm sure there could be other conditionals too about how many, the percentage of snaps that he plays and stuff like that. Because you had Carson Wentz with a very similar situation when he was traded from the Eagles to the Colts. So there is that. All right. If we don't think that it's Aaron Rodgers holding this up, who is it more on then, the Jets or the Packers? Because if I feel like, from my perspective, if I'm the Packers and I just saw last year or the year before that, whatever it was, Deshaun Watson getting almost 4 first-round picks for him and an incredible deal. If I'm the Packers, I think that first pick, the first second-round pick for 2023, I kind of would like to see that as a first-round pick and maybe forget what happens in 2024, 2025.
I'm putting the Jets more at fault here for thinking that you're going to rob a franchise of a Super Bowl winning 3-time MVP quarterback.
Right, kind of
nail meathead. Here comes Kyle.
Kyle, can they kind of can, because the Packers want him gone as well, but they don't want to take the bare minimum. But I think they're going to take a lot less than they would just from another team, or if they had a better relationship, Rodgers and the Packers.
I don't think they will, because I don't think Rodgers is the kind of guy that will sit out.
He'll come back and play for the Packers, but Packers don't want that.
Well, no, but maybe they need it though.
Is it imperative for Aaron Rodgers this year, in your mind, if he's going to be playing for a new team, to get to the OTAs or get to the preseason side of things, the training camps and all of that good stuff, get acclimated with your receivers?
Absolutely, that's important it should be important for any player, but unfortunately they don't look at it like that anymore. But I would think so. When you're somebody like that and you're going to go play with a bunch of young guys that you've never even interacted with.
Yeah, especially with, like you said, especially with how it was last year for him. Like, that was his biggest problem, that he said. They don't have the chemistry, even throughout the year.
Yeah, but isn't that on Aaron Rodgers, essentially?
Exactly.
For not getting there early?
But that's what I'm saying. That's why this deal needs to get done as fast as possible for the Jets' sake. And they need to come off of whatever they're doing, because I think Kyle hit the nail on the head perfectly. They're sitting there, the Jets are sitting there saying, okay, we already know Rodgers wants to come to us. Let's offer this. Let's see if they'll take this. They're offering the bare minimum as is and just probably adding a little bit more each time. They've probably sent over about 45 different trade requests, and as we've seen, the Packers have denied all of them. They need to up that a little bit more just to get this done.
Is there somebody new driving that truck with the Domino's thing on it?
I don't know. Kind of looks
That's
the
not
same.
the same dude from earlier.
But it is another one of those fantastic squatted trucks, and it's got the tailgate. It's kind of like ready, always ready.
That makes me makes me want to go want to shy away from Domino's.
Yeah. Come to Angelina's.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Marietta, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Quick timeout. We'll be right back with your local high school sports spotlight.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Holland Hearts offers group ride experiences for disadvantaged youth and adults. They're currently seeking sponsors for a fundraising feline field trip to the Bear Creek Feline Center. And your $100 write-off donation will allow a student or an adult to attend. Proceeds benefit the Bear Creek Feline Center. To donate, call 850-588-7515. That's 588-7515.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. The SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a new 2023 Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer, Bill Bird Kia.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
From Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge, we're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Final segment of the afternoon here. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Kyle Wright, Drew Gorman, and Miles Lashley. This segment brought to you by Barbaritos, food, community, and people. Visit Barbaritos on 23rd Street and tell them the Underdogs sent you. Drew, why don't you take those JUCO baseball scores?
I love dominoes. Tallahassee beats Chipola 17-6, and Northwest Florida is all over Pensacola 13-0.
All right, Kyle, with the high school baseball scores.
I love it. Blue Sky Express Car Wash. Go see them. Childs 4, Mosley 2 here. Arnold over McIntosh 5-2. South Walton over Rocky Bayou 13-1. Catondale over Vernon 11-1. That's Cottondale, by the way. Wacola Christian over Bluntstown 10-5. North Bay Haven over Liberty 9-5. Mariana up there in the homelands 9-1 over Sneeds. Jackson over Weewall 6-1. Bozeman over Rutherford 7-5. Brookstone over Chipley 6-0. South Walton over Lafayette 4-0, and Andalusia over Bill Paxton 13-3.
And in high school softball, Freeport shuts out Vina 10-0. Wakulla over Sneed 17-1. Franklin takes down NFC 7-1. That's NFC. North Florida Christian, not the whole entire NFC.
What a game!
Vernon in a tight one with Laurel Hill 5-3. South Walton over Walton 7-1 in that ball game. Bethlehem plays to a close one with Destin 7-4. Alpha shuts out Bluntstown 15-0. Holmes takes down Bozeman in a one-run thriller 7-6. North Bay Haven same way here over Mosley. They've been going after each other all year long. North Bay Haven beats Mosley 2-1. Mariana over Graceville by 10, 11-1. And Liberty shuts down Port St. Joe in a close one 3-2. The NJCAA has released its 2023 All-American basketball teams. 3 local players were selected from the men's first team All-American. It was Keshawn Pryor, who played for Northwest Florida State. He was a sophomore, 14.8 points per game. He had 8 rebounds per game. Women's first team All-American was Sakima Walker from Northwest Florida State. She was also a sophomore, averaging 16.7 points a game and 8.2 rebounds per game. And the third team All-American on the women's side of things, Ciante Downs, Gulf Coast sophomore guard, 15.4 points a game, 5.1 rebounds a game, and 2.7 assists per game. We've got the Masters tomorrow. Who's your pick to win it all, Miles?
Yeah, I have John Rahm to win it all. Let me find my little list here real quick. So I got John Rahm to win it all. Scotty Scheffler, top 10. Max Homa, top 10. And then Minwoo Lee, top 20.
Real quick here, though, we got a little traffic update brought to you by Wright State. Chris, he says Hathaway Bridge going towards the beach is completely backed up. There's an overturned vehicle right at Wildwood. Yikes. The Hathaway Bridge is completely backed up if you're heading towards the beach. So there's really no alternative way if you're already kind of close to the bridge, right? You'd have to go all the way down to 79 or up 77 20-79. But so just watch out there if you're headed towards the beach. Hathaway Bridge is completely backed up. Professor Plum texted in earlier, is that Ryan Fitzpatrick on the grassy knoll? No, I think we're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback. Thanks so much for listening, Professor Plum. Back to your Masters. Who's your best value pick to win? So I've got some numbers here that I pulled from ESPN
You're gonna have to pull
earlier.
I haven't looked at the value at all. I know Rahm and Scheffler around plus 700.
Yeah, Rahm is plus 900 actually, according to these odds. You know how that all plays out, though. Phil Mickelson at plus 35,000.
3,500 or 1,000?
I mean, this has got 3 zeros in front, behind the 35.
Yeah, I mean,
that's 35,000.
I would not advise taking that bet.
No, but I mean, if you
maybe to make the cut, if it was that, yes. But
well, you throw $1 on it, you could win 3,500 if you surprises people.
Right. Hey, yeah, I would take Tiger to make the cut as well.
Tiger to make the cut. A top 10 finish for Tiger is plus 550. Would you go that route? I'm weary on that.
I thought it would be more than that.
Really?
Top 5 or 10?
Top 10. Top 10 plus 550.
I see him finishing top 20, top 40.
I like that Tony Finau's plus 2,200 to win, but to finish in the top 10 plus 200. I say with my best value pick, they don't even got Cam Smith up here. That's what I'm going to be watching is where do these live golfers finish within the PGA Tour? Cam Smith's right there.
Greg
plus
Norman said that if a live golfer does win it, all the other 17 live golfers playing in this event will meet them at the 18th green and they'll all kind of have a celebration together.
I told my dad that the only way, because my dad he's on the anti-live train for sure.
Gotcha.
And he wants live guys taken out of the PGA. Like they don't want them to be able to play in these events either.
Yeah.
And I told him like maybe the best way for you to get what you want, right? But the best way for live players not to be allowed back in the Masters would be for a live player to win the Masters.
I like that, but at the same time,
the Masters is classier than that.
The Master, right? And I think that if this happened at maybe the U.S. Open or if it was at the Open Championship, maybe one of those majors would pull the trigger and move on. But as far as the Masters, though, I don't think so because they want the best of the best playing.
All right, my pick for the Masters is John. I'm with you, though. I have John Rahm, man. He's been so close so many times. He still hasn't won a major.
And then think about the players a few weeks ago. Scotty won. I mean, I think if John Rahm doesn't get sick and withdraw from that, that's a neck and neck all the way to the end.
Absolutely, but he's done that a couple times in his career. So I don't know, man. I like John Rahm a lot. I'm ready to see him win a major, and he needs one for his resume.
Someone texted me earlier and said, David, go to the park 2 hours early and watch batting practice and them take an infield, which that's a common practice for me to do anyways. I do that with the 3.5 hour, 4 hour game.
Then you could practice the 9 hot dogs and
I'll do 9 brews before, during batting practice and all that, and then 9 during the game time.
I'm here for on the Masters, I'm here for the double dip with Scotty Scheffler. Give me the double dip there.
I think I like Scotty to win it again.
He's fun to watch, great golfer. But I mean, there's not a personality there. He's boring.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you're a good golfer.
Yeah, but he's boring. It's like you want to have a guy winning all the time that has a great, outgoing, fun personality. Scotty's always just like, yeah, that was fun.
All you do is go and read off Twitter's.
I want to see a villain win or somebody that's never won it before.
No, I was talking. You were saying all the things that Miles does all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up. But that was easy.
Yeah, this is easy.
Yeah,
John Rahm's winning it.
I like Scheffler though. I would like to see Jordan Spieth do good, but I just.
Well, then what about who did I forget? Rory McIlroy? If he wins this, he'll complete the Grand Slam.
That's true.
I've won all 4 majors.
Okay. I can't believe Rory's never won the Masters. That always just flabbergasts me.
He's been playing really well this year too.
He has too. This will be the year for Rory, I would think. If he's going to get one, this is probably the year. This is pretty wide open.
I think it would be one of those things that the storyline would continue though with Liv and PGA. The storyline's going to continue no matter which way it goes. But if you've got one of the top dogs. What's that?
Like football, the Super Bowl. The story is set up for the perfect storyline. The Kelsey brothers. What's the best storyline out of a
Rory?
winner?
Is Rory the best storyline? Cam Smith is probably the best storyline.
Yeah, him or any other live golfer. I think that makes.
Or what about Dustin Johnson, a guy who's won it as a PGA Tour golfer, but then could also do it as a live golfer as well?
I think if it came down to a Sunday shootout between Rory and Patrick Reed, that would be the best thing for golf.
Yes, them in a pairing.
Yeah,
I want to see that. I want to see some of the guys that that have kind of had beef with Rory and those other PGA players play together. And some of them have already come out and said, like, we're still friends with some of them. We live in the same place in Florida. We golf.
Yeah,
we golf
when
together,
you watch
we
that Full
practice
Swing
together.
documentary, it's like all of them are from Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah, they all live there and golf and practice together, train together. And then I don't know where Patrick Reed lives, but I'm guessing if he lives there, he does not practice there. He's not allowed there where all the other ones are. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think that's what everybody watching this tournament is hoping for, or people have been watching this fight, I guess, between the two tours. Everybody's hoping for a Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy grouping.
Yeah, give me all of the Live versus PGA type groupings.
Then all we need now is just a mic'd up so we can hear him walking down the fairways.
Why don't we get an AI guy to do that? He can just follow him
mic'd
around.
up, we're just hearing what they're saying.
No, I know that, but I'm saying
I want a robot tell me what you're saying.
No, like an AI robot just following them around with a mic, kind of like a boom mic hanging over their heads.
Or look, we could just,
or we just watch season 2 of Full Swing.
Do what?
We just watch season 2 of Full Swing.
Yeah, I guess we could.
There's gonna definitely be some elements of that there. That the text earlier about going to the park 2 hours earlier, that was from Lynn Haven Rob. Always enjoy a great text from Lynn Haven Rob. Again, tomorrow, Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure that you're tuned into that. Always great stuff there. And then we'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. with Miles, Drew, and myself. It's been a great afternoon hanging out here at Dave and Buster's on the patio. It has been very lively out here this afternoon. Still can't wait. Kyle, you want to do the Sky Wheel next week?
Absolutely, I'm in. All right, I want to do the show from the Sky Wheel.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Amanda
a
said
gas
we can.
generator in there with us.
Let's do it.
I forgot about that aspect of it. Great job, Miles, getting us set up for the afterlife.
For the afterlife.
Oh, let's see anything new popping across the old ticker today.
Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. How about when it comes to the game tonight, Lakers, Clippers, who do you like to win that game tonight? I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think that their depth is better, and I don't think Anthony Davis plays tonight, being that it's back-to-back games and he doesn't do back-to-backs.
Who's at home?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
I think
It's lost on you.
I think I'm actually going to take the Lakers here.
What about you, Drew?
The Lakers are hot right now.
Clippers are the home team, which doesn't really
it doesn't
matter.
That was a joke.
Oh, that did get lost.
That's why I said it's lost.
I was
on
like,
you.
well, okay, whatever.
It's not the Staples anymore. It's
Crypto.com Arena.
Crypto.com Arena. How long until that one's renamed then? Not very long. Who you got, Drew?
I'm going to stick with the Lakers.
How about the Kings, man? Still haven't talked about them a lot, but they've already clinched, I think they're the second seed right now in the West.
They put that laser beam on top of their building.
That's Miles' opinion. But
His name is DeMontis Sabonis.
The Mavericks are a 6.5-point favorite tonight somehow, with probably not Luka, probably no Kyrie. Well, no, they have to be playing tonight, but still, the Kings having a great season, led off by Coach Mike Brown. It's been a fantastic year from them. Drew's Pelicans taking on the Grizzlies tonight. Bulls and Bucks on ESPN. That could be a pretty good game. Feinbaum is coming up next. Again, Coach James Hale Show is going to be live at 7 a.m. We're going to be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. I've got 15 seconds to kill for Miles here because he can't just play me some bumper music since we're out here on the road. From Pier Park, for Miles Lashley, Drew Gorman, Kyle Wright, I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs, and we're out of here.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey, this is David from the Afternoon Underdogs. Join me, Miles, Amanda, Kyle, Caveman Rick, AG, and a cast of sports fanatics every Wednesday at Dave & Buster's.
While we are broadcasting the entire show live on location, enjoy half-price games, half-price cocktails, plus win Dave & Buster's game cards and free ESPN swag just for stopping by. Can I say it, David?
Say what?
Sweet.
It is sweet.
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 Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf